What is up everybody, Katlife here with another new video. Today we are talking about double daggers. Now, what is double daggers? Well, let me show you exactly what I mean. This right here is double daggers. Now, as cat players, I know that a lot of us has set up double daggers by accident. And it just happens sometimes. Well, I do the same thing, but the more I kept doing it, the more I kept reviewing some of my plays and really analyzing the situation, I figured out that there are actually ways to set it up intentionally. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys 5 different ways you can set up multiple daggers. But before we start getting into the setups, I want to give you guys one piece of information. Once you pick up 2 daggers at the same time, your Shunpo will immediately reset. Now let me show you guys exactly what I mean. Now keep that in mind because it'll help in situations where you do see the double daggers. You're allowed to set up your next move, because what a lot of Katarina players do is they have to anticipate their next move. So when you see double daggers, just be ready to have your Shunpo up again immediately. Now let's start getting into the setups. So the first setup is going to be super easy. It's going to be QEW. This is what it looks like. This setup is mainly used for laning phase, and it's a very safe combo in lane. The reason why is because of the instant Shunpo reset. So this double dagger setup, you should use it in lane against champions like maybe LeBlanc. If you don't want to get hit by your chain, you just want to get a quick trade in and jump out. That's just one of many examples. Experiment with it and try it out. It's actually a really good combo to use. It's a lot safer than the Q, E, W, run away, E back in. Because the moment you E, you're going to have to run away because you're not going to be able to get that instant Shunpo reset. And even if you jump onto the W dagger afterwards, you're still going to have to sit there for a little bit before your Shunpo completely comes up again. Now we're going to talk about the second double dagger setup, which is pretty much W and then Q right afterwards. So let's say you're running away from your opponent. You W and then you Q right afterwards. That's 2 daggers right there, and then you jump right in.
It's unlucky.
Now, this is pretty much like the regular combo where you W away because you're being chased and you re-engage. It's pretty much the same concept. If you're setting up that Q, you're not always going to get the double daggers onto the person that's chasing you. But if their backline is walking up and you're able to set that up, you can burst them for a lot of damage. It could potentially one-shot their ADC or their AP carry or whoever it is. I think this is a very simple setup to utilize because it only requires you to W away and then Q right after, but just make sure that you align yourself with the W. If you W away, you want to make sure you're on the opposite side. It's okay if you're kind of onto the side because they'll still kind of stack, but just make sure that you throw out your Q properly so that it lands onto the W dagger. Alright, now we're going to get into the third and fourth setup. Keep in mind guys that I do have auto refresh cooldowns on. Now these setups still work without it, but there is no real way to get the reset in practice tool, so I'm pretty much using the auto refresh cooldown to show that I got the reset. So for the third setup, pretty much what you're doing is you're throwing a Q, E, W to pick up the Q dagger, get the reset, and then place another W. So this is what the third setup looks like. Now let me try to slow it down for you guys. So you throw out your Q, You eat W, kill them with the Q dagger, and then you place another dagger with your W. Now for this combo, just remember that you don't want to throw out your Q and E too fast. You want to throw out your Q and then throw out your eat W a little bit afterwards. Or else, if the daggers are too close together, you're just going to pick both of them up at the same time. So you want to throw out your Q, eat W, get the reset, place another W, and then jump back in. I feel like this combo is good when you're jumping on multiple people, but you have to know your damage pretty well, or the enemy has to be super low, because you're pretty much going to need to kill the enemy with either QE or QE and then pick up the Q dagger. So they have to be relatively low to use this combo, but if you can actually get the setup off, it's super rewarding. Now let's move on to the fourth setup. You set up a Q, E in, you W, get the reset off the ulti, and then W out. This is what it looks like. Now I feel like this combo is easiest to pull off in a team fight, because in a team fight you're always trying to set up Qs and looking for that opportunity to go in. So when you set up a Q in a team fight, if you E in and W and ulti and grab the reset, when you don't need the damage from the W dagger, W away and you should be able to set up easy double daggers. Lastly, we got the fifth setup. Q, E, W, proc the W dagger to get the reset, and then W out. This is what it looks like. Now this combo seems a little bit harder to pull off, but if you're strong enough and you jump on a squishy using your full burst, you should be able to pull this off. Now depending on how strong you are, you can actually set up triple daggers. The less abilities you use to kill your opponent, the more daggers you can utilize. So for example, if I wanted to set up a triple dagger, I would Q, E, W, kill them with the initial Q, E, ulti, and then W out without using the W dagger, leaving all three on the floor untouched. This is what it looks like. And interesting enough, you can actually set up 4 daggers with this combo. You would just need to find a way to set up the Q on top of the other daggers. So if you were doing your combo and someone is positioned in between you and the daggers, you can throw a Q to set up a 4th one. This is what it looks like. Remember that when you do this combo, it's better to Shunpo towards your Q dagger, so if the Q lands behind them, Shunpo behind them as well. Now, I've never actually done this combo, so I don't have a clip or example to show you guys, but through experimenting and really messing around with Kat, I think this is the most possible way for you to set up multiple daggers with Katarina. Now, I know the last 2 setups were pretty difficult, and for a lot of new Kat players, it would probably confuse the hell out of you. But I'm gonna sum it up in simpler terms. So when you're doing these kinds of setups, just throw everything, get the reset, and immediately W out. And potentially you might get a double dagger setup or a triple dagger setup. So pretty much you Q, E ulti, W out. All of your combos will end with you Wing out, except for the quadruple dagger, which you end off with your Q. Alright, that was the end of the video. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. Took a bit of experimenting to actually figure these kind of combos out. But Katarina is still in its early stages of the game where we haven't really figured out everything yet. So I'm trying to open up possibilities for all Katarina players so that we can maybe do some cool mechanical stuff. And who knows, maybe like 2-3 years from now, Katarina will be played completely different. I hope you guys can actually utilize this in game and see what you can do. I'm obviously gonna try to do it as much as I can in certain situations just to see what happens. And who knows, maybe double dagger setup, triple dagger setups will end up being a thing. If you guys want to see more of these videos, hit the like button, comment on what you think, subscribe to my channel to see more videos like these. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Okay, it's Childish, Gambino, homegirl, drop it like